Hi, it's Anthony and Mandy. We're
Hi.
here with your weekly update.
Top 3 things that sellers need to know right now in this market.
Well, good news is this is a really awesome market for sellers. There's a ton of low inventory. This is a seller's market, and we're going to show you why. And honestly, here in February, I didn't actually expect this to happen because we expected to see inventory starting to stack up, right? But the truth is, buyers have really come out in force, even with these high interest rates. Mandy's going to tell you how that's even possible in a little while. But here we are, 511 active units in all of Boulder County. And you can see that if we follow a year with rising inventory, this is going to start to stack up here over the next few months. But for right now, this is an awesome time for sellers. There was only 335 listings last month. That's pretty close to this time last year, but it was a bump up of like 18% from this time last year.
So number 2, with that low inventory, your house will still be one of the rare houses on the market right now. And that's good for sellers to know and for agents to be communicating that to their sellers.
Yeah, I think so too. We only saw 276 homes go under contract. It was slightly less than what we had come on the market. So it hasn't really hit that spring velocity, but we really are starting to feel it this week with a lot more people entering the marketplace, and still the listings are tending to lag a little bit, right?
The listings are low, but the buyers are out.
Buyers
That's
are
the
out.
big change from last month to this month.
Yeah, I think this could be the best month to sell this year. So just putting that out there for you as sellers. There's only 1.5 months of inventory, 1.5 months of inventory. And it's the same as last month, which is still really, really good, right? It's a major seller's market. And even though that's a pretty extreme difference from what you expected or felt last year, we're in a really amazing spot for home sellers in this marketplace to really still get top dollar out of their house.
Tell me, when does it change on months of supply for buyer's market?
Yeah, so you go to a balanced market from 4 to 6 months. That kind of happens where buyer and seller are on even footing. And then above 6 months of inventory is what we consider a buyer's market. And a buyer's market is where buyers can go out and make, outlandish offers on homes, and sellers are likely to take them because they've been sitting on the market for a long time.
So this shows that we were in a balanced market. When was the last time? 2019?
2019 was the last time we were in a balanced market. Yep. I would be shocked if we get all the way to a balanced market this year, but I really would expect that month supply line to follow and trend similar to the 2019 range, because with these higher interest rates, it's just going to be a lot harder for buyers to get stuff under contract and just kind of qualify for what they really want. So some people are just going to decide not to participate this year.
But when you look at the graph on that months of supply, it looks like, the only year where it really started to, that it went down from here is 2021. Every other year, the listings and the months of supply went up from here. And so this is why it's really good for the sellers.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's talk about number 3. This is important. Sellers have the upper hand in negotiations, and that largely is due to that seller's market. But take a look at this. It is taking about 47 days to go under contract right now on average. Now that's going to escalate from here all the way through May. So that's a really good sign. And then when you talk about our percentage list sale price, this is basically from the price at which it's going to go under contract to the closing date. So over the course of that month period or whatever it is going to be, how much of a discount are you going to give to the buyers, right? And a lot of times, you see markets, especially this time of year, where if it needs a new roof, you're going to buy a new roof, right? Or, if there were seller concessions we had, like we talked about in December or even into January, right? People were getting some of that stuff. You're just not seeing as much of it now. And this is going to continue to trend up. The big caution, though, as a seller, right, is we're not going to experience a market like last year, right?
Right.
We saw huge bidding wars. We saw all these over asking price offers. You might see a bidding war in this market, right? It's very possible we're starting to see that.
Yeah, so it's hard to quantify that when you're in it. Like when we're live time this week, we're seeing, lots of different multiple offers. But, when we talk about multiple offers, it only takes 2. So it's not like last year when we had 10.
Right. And 2 means modest pricing, right? It means somebody's probably coming in at full price, right?
Versus under. Yeah.
Or maybe they just, you're not waiving inspections. You're not doing all this crazy stuff like we were a year ago.
None of my buyers are having to give everything up, but my sellers are able to, put one buyer against the other and be in a multiple offer situation and maybe get them up. We're seeing this. What I'm seeing is I'm starting to see this percent closed price to list price being at 100%.
Yeah.
So
And when we're talking about averages, stuff that's been sitting on the market a long time, stuff that, may have not gone under contract before, where we saw some of that in February, where things maybe sat over the holidays and they finally went under contract this last month,
Mhm.
because there really are a lot of buyers out shopping. That skews this number quite a bit too, because if it was sitting on the market at 500,000 and somebody finally came in and made an offer after 90 days at 450, because that's where it
Mhm.
needed to be, you're probably fairly likely to take that as a seller, right? And that's going to really skew some of these numbers.
Yeah.
But those new listings coming on the market, they're doing remarkably well, and they're moving a lot faster than those, 47 on average days in the MLS to go on
Yeah.
contract.
Yeah, I have a friend who has a listing, and they pulled it. They had it back on in the fall, and then the winter they pulled the listing, and then they just put it back on, and it got under contract in the first weekend. Just 2 offers, but they got over list on it. It was priced a little low in Broomfield. So
Well, fantastic. And some of those underlying markets, right? We're talking about Boulder County here. If you're getting into some of the Broomfield markets, I've been sharing this with a lot of people. There are a lot more active buyers in some of those areas that are a little bit more affordable, because with the price of money, people are going to drive a little bit farther and get the house they want, rather than making some sacrifices. So
Right.
it seems like more people are compromising going farther than they are going to like an attached product.
Yeah. And I would say too, anything that's entry level is going to be flying off the shelves. We've seen that in the
Right.
past
Well, and
couple market updates. And in those areas like Broomfield and Thornton and Westminster, we're going to see those entry level homes just
Right.
killing it.
And there are a
because-
lot of them. So
Mhm.
those markets tend to do really well in these type of markets.
Yeah, and it's because you've captured the first time home buyer. And the first time home buyers are looking at renting versus buying, and it's always going to make sense to buy over renting.
I agree.
And so it's not going to be those second time and third time home buyers. So
All right. Well, tell us a little bit about interest rates this week and what's happening.
yeah, so we got a little bit of improvement this week from last week. Not huge. We're still pretty stable. So on this chart, up means good, down means bad for rates. So you can see like when they started to go down. You can see right around February 6th. Let's see if I can point.
Right there.
Whoa, there you go. February 6th. That's when we started to see things deteriorate a little bit. We got some economic reports come out that weren't in favor of mortgage interest rates. This week we have the jobs report coming out on Friday that we're really anxiously looking forward to. Those jobs reports are a little skewed because of all of the hiring that's gone into leisure and travel.
Right.
And so we're going to see the jobs report be a little bit more reflective of what's going on into the market, because leisure and travel has gotten so inflated from rehiring from COVID.
Right.
So we're expecting to see that come out on Friday. And then next week, I think it's Tuesday, we see the inflation report come out. So I'm hoping that we can hold off. We've been in a locking position for a long time, about a month. We've been in, once you get under contract, you lock. Right now, we're taking a little pause because it's been a little stable, and we're going to carefully float, not lock right now, and see how those jobs report and inflation report come out and see if they have a positive impact on rates.
Fingers crossed, right? I think they probably will. Here's the mortgage rates from Mortgage News Daily over the course of like the last year or so. And you can see that we're getting back to kind of that all-time high, or I should say all-time, but like the recent high. But I really do think that this is a short-lived thing.
Yeah, I think that, yep. So we're right around hovering high 6s, mid 6s maybe, and getting up to 7% on a national average. But I'm hoping that the big day that we're looking forward to is May 10th. That's when the inflation report comes out, that we already know what last year looks like. So we're expecting that we're going to know that it's going to be a positive thing for inflation. And we're hoping that mortgage interest rates will follow that.
Awesome. Well,
Yeah.
I'm Anthony Meisner with Land Title.
Yeah, and I'm Mandy Pallone. Reach out. We're here to help in any way, and we'll see you next week for investors.
That's right. We'll talk about investors next week, and there's
Yep.
a lot of opportunity in this marketplace right now,
Yep.
so don't miss that one.
All right. Have a good week.
Bye.
Bye.